Committee on Parole's called to order today is 11:01 a.m. Thursday, March 30th. My name is Brendan Kelsey. Along with me is Cheryl Knox and Mr. Albert Roche will be your panel. Staff is for seated at DOC headquarters in Baton Rouge. Our remote location is Caldwell Correctional Center with staff and support at Caldwell. Staff and support, please introduce yourself.
My name is Lieutenant Ron Tatum over transportation.
All right. Thank you. We're ready for our first case. Please introduce yourself, state your name and DOC number for the record.
Good morning. My name is Montryago Drake DOC 421476.
All right, Mr. Drake, you heard the introductions. We'll have a parole interview, ask you some questions. You can respond at the end. You can make a statement. We'll take a vote. You understand the process?
Yes, sir.
And you have with you, who will speak at the appropriate time, Sawartha Mays, Carolyn Drake, and Dennis Davis. Get your information right here. Montryago Drake, OC number 421476. You're a third class offender. Parole eligibility date 5/28/2023. Good time 11/4/2027. Full term 6/16/2028. 2028. 7-year, 2-month, 2-day sentence. Possession of methamphetamine. Possession of methamphetamines. That sound correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, would you answer Ms. Renata's question, please?
Mr. Drake, good morning.
Good morning.
How long have you been in jail?
18 months now.
18 months of a 7-year sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to acknowledge that you have, in the record, we do have a lot of letters, several letters from you and other letters from friends and family. I just want to go over, you were in jail, you were released on good time in April of 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
April 16th to be exact. And then you were arrested less than 3 months later on July 20th in 2021 in Richland Parish for drugs. Then obviously you were out, and just 2 weeks later, August the 7th, you were arrested in Washita Parish, drug related again, and that involved a simple battery. And in one of your letters, I saw where you said you were just using drugs as a supplement because you were wearing yourself down. Would you explain that?
Well, yes, ma'am. That's part of the reason I was using drugs, but it really ain't no justifying, my actions for that. But that was one of the reasons, because I really was running so much with my kids to school. I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was going to school. My mom,
Stay drug free. All those things you just mentioned are the reasons you should stay drug free.
Yes, ma'am. That's why I say it ain't no reason. It was just a poor choice, the drug using. It just ain't no reason to go around that. It's just being a man about it. I'm just taking responsibility for it because I made the bad choice. So it ain't no reason around it.
You're selling drugs?
No, ma'am, I was using. I used to sell drugs way back before I caught the possession of PCP charge that I got 20 years for. So, since then, I haven't tried to sell a drug or none of that since then. My thing this time was abusing drugs. And
What were the drugs? Meth and what else?
Ecstasy. Yes, ma'am.
And according to, let's see, where are you located? You're in Richland?
Right now, I'm in Caldwell.
You're at Caldwell.
Yeah.
It looks like you've taken a lot of good programs, risk management, 1 and 2, anger management. Have you ever had any formal substance abuse treatment ever?
No, ma'am. This is the first time here during the risk management phase 1 and 2. This is the first time that I've seen drug treatment, period. And
Now, that's not the treatment, that's more of an educational type program to teach you some other stuff. What I'm talking about is intensive, like inpatient treatment. So you've never had anything like that.
no, ma'am.
You think we could benefit from it?
Yes, ma'am. The risk management.
Children,
Yes, ma'am.
you have mentioned children. How many children do you have?
2 boys.
How old are they?
One just turned 17 and my baby boy is 14.
Very impressionable. Talk to them about drugs?
Yes, ma'am. You know, I talked to him a lot about it. But, you know, the sad thing is, you know, I wasn't being a good teacher because I was using. So, you know, but it's still a route that I didn't want them to take because, you know, just looking back on my life and what it did to me, you know, I just know it's not a good choice for them. But I stayed trying to, you know, lead them different aside from the drug life. And, you know, I used to teach them things. I used to put them on YouTube and, you know, let them watch a lot of things and had them doing essays on, you know, I was trying my best to just really lead them on the right path, even though I
Aren't
was,
that,
ma'am.
aren't that a good example?
Yes, ma'am.
And you got any write-ups in the last 18 months?
No, ma'am. I have 0 write-ups.
How long you been in?
I came here in October of 21.
Do you have a job?
Yes, ma'am. I've been working Class A trustee for the last 13 or 14 months.
What do you do?
We do basically everything from building ramps to cooking for senior citizens, cutting, moving.
Whatever they want,
Ma'am.
whatever they need you to do, right?
Yes, ma'am. Whatever they ask.
All right, Lieutenant Tatum, do you know, Mr. Drake?
Yes, ma'am. Like he was saying earlier, he came to us in October 21. He became a trustee probably around January or February of that next year. He's currently now a tractor crew. They cut grass, and like a couple months ago, we had a tornado come through. The inmates went out. One of the inmates went out, stayed out all night, helping cut the trees down that fell on houses and all kind of stuff like that. He has no write-ups. He's very respectful. He's just a good inmate, and he's been passing. We do regular drug screens, and he's always passed.
Okay, good to hear. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, now we'll hear from a brief statement from Ms. Sawartha Mays. All right, go ahead and make a brief statement. Can you hear us? Nope. All right, what about Mr. Dennis Davis? Would you like to make a brief statement, Mr. Davis? Take stuff off of mute.
All right.
Good, go ahead, brief statement.
Okay. That's my cousin, and within our family structure, besides his mother who needs him the most, his sons definitely need him. Definitely need him. And as a unit, a family unit, he's very valuable, and we're here to support anything that he needs so that he doesn't have to go back through this same thing. We desperately need him out and not in there.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your comment. What about Miss Carolyn Drake? Is she Miss Sawartha or Miss Carolyn? Can y'all hear us? Can y'all hear us? Sawartha, can you hear us? Nope. All right. Would you like to make a statement on your behalf, Mr. Drake? Go ahead and make a statement.
Yes, sir. First, I just want to thank the board for allowing me the opportunity. I just want to say that I'm not a bad person at all. I have great intentions. I have goals and ambitions to fulfill them. I was in school before my incarceration, going to McCann for business administration. I was working on my LLCs for the small company that I wanted to try to run. And I'm a loving father. I'm a caring man. I like to help people, and I just want to try to right my wrongs. I know my downfall was drugs, and I'm just tired of the risk. I'm just tired of the incarceration. I'm just really looking forward, to God, and just trying to get strength and guidance from Him. I know it's a process, but it's a process that I'm willing to take because I'm getting older, and I'm tired of the setbacks that drugs just seem to put me on. I was really serving a purpose out there. I was working full time. I was being a father to my kids. I was there for my mother that really needed me the most. And, if I could do it again, I'd do it all the same, just without the drug usage. I just want to be more for my family and just more family oriented.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Now prepared to vote. Ms. Renata?
Mr. Drake, I was impressed by what the facility had to say about you. I'm pleased that you're doing well where you're at. I don't believe you've acknowledged you have a drug problem. I mean, it's caused you problems, but you were trying to maintain a life while you were addicted to illegal substances. I was impressed to hear from let's see, he's your cousin.
Yeah.
I was glad to hear what he had to say and that the family wants to offer support. I believe it's some drug treatment prior to release. Because it's not about just getting out of jail, it's about staying sober and staying out of jail. So I would going to take a chance and bring you conditionally after you complete a substance abuse program. I'm not talking about living in balance. We're talking like an intensive substance abuse program. And then after release, should you be granted parole, added special conditions that you do follow up with whatever aftercare treatment plan is recommended. My decision is based on very positive remarks from the facility. You've maintained C status there at Caldwell, and you have obvious things.
Mr. Roche?
Impressed with your closing state. I think you've arrived. I think you've turned the corner. The only thing that you have to do is, as I mentioned it, own up to being a great drug addict. You'll be a drug addict for the rest of your life. But hopefully you will be a recovering drug addict. We have to work on it each and every day. It will not go away. Once you realize you have a disease and you have to treat it, you'll be okay. My vote is the same, for the same reasons, and in the same condition before and after release. Good luck.
So, thank you.
Right. You have 2 votes to grant your parole. Also going to vote to grant your parole for the long-term substance abuse program. You'll get that treatment. Here's your opportunity to pull it all together. This is what you're telling us you want to do. I hear well, but I see better. So it's time to show us. You will attend the NAAA 3 times a week after you're released. You'll have a curfew from 10 p to 6 a. You'll maintain full-time employment. You'll follow up with whatever treatment aftercare that the Steve Hall program has for you. But 3 votes to grant to the Steve Hall Intensive Substance Abuse Program. Good luck to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jared Caldwell, 11.
It's awesome to see that they're, excited about that. We have seen many people given what you would, I think, call an opportunity and not be happy about it or not appreciate what they were given. In this sense, it's 9 months. It's like, program. Hopefully he can get the most out of it. But also it's like a light at the end of the tunnel, something to, and let's go over the transcript of what originally got him locked up, but also just like, really, I was surprised the board was so nice to him in the sense that he got these big charges in just 3 months after getting let out. He was arrested. And then 2 weeks later, after that arrest, he was arrested again. And he comes up here and he says things like, well, and he even wrote a letter to the board just to show how, like, I don't know what the word is, kind of not really aware of like how it sounded, but I was stressed out. I was working 2 jobs, taking the kids to school, and I think Miss Renatza cut him off and said, yeah, those are the reasons to stay sober. And, they're taking it easy on him. Well, not easy, but they're trying to help him, which is good. This is what the system should be. Don't tell someone they have a problem and then keep them locked up doing laundry for 20 years. And like, what do you expect's going to happen? So I don't know, hopefully like a hardcore program can help him. Hopefully it really can. At some point, people just get tired and they need to stop. So this was the initial charge where he appealed. He argues that there was insufficient evidence. We reversed that conviction and set aside a 5-year sentence. Otherwise, we affirm. Oh wow, they did. He did win something. He argues insufficient evidence and an ineffective counsel finding insufficient evidence to support the conviction for illegal possession of a stolen firearm. We reversed that conviction and set aside a 5-year sentence. Wow, he won a bit of an appeal. Otherwise, we affirm the conviction for the other 2 offenses that the ineffective assistance claim may be asserted to. So facts. On June 19, 2008, Officer Jeremy Kent and Bragdon Wagner of Monroe Police Department responded to 911 call regarding a fight. Upon arriving at the residence, they encountered Shantez Conway, who was standing in the carport area, who said that a man and woman were fighting inside. They could be heard shouting at what sounded like items being thrown or broken. When no one answered the door in response to knocking, Officer Kent banged on the door until it was opened by the defendant. He was shirtless and appeared agitated. The defendant told the officers that he had called 911, but the assistance was no longer needed. However, the officers could see a woman inside sitting bent over and apparently crying. They asked the defendant to step inside, which he did. He began shouting to the police that the police were not allowed in his house. Officer Kent entered the house to check the woman, while Officer Wagner remained outside with the defendant. The woman seemed shaken and bruised, scratches around her neck, shoulders, and arms. Her tank top shirt appeared stretched, and her hair was disheveled. While inside the house, Officer Kent detected chemical odor that he immediately associated with PCP. After directing Navi outside for questioning, Officers Kent and Wagner conducted a protective sweep of the residence. Officer, a protective sweep, right? It's interesting. You go inside a house, but then you're allowed to because they were called there, and it's like a domestic dispute incident, right? So you're allowed to go in, and then at that point, you're allowed to do a protective sweep, and I guess anything you find can be used against you, and you don't need a search warrant. It's interesting how these laws work. I know they're probably different in every, even county, forget state, I'm guessing. But okay, Wagner also detected the scent of PCP upon entering the residence. While conducting the sweep, they noticed in plain view a brown bottle in one bedroom and a rifle with a cut-off stock and a pistol in another. That's fun. They unloaded and secured the guns for officer safety and then exited the residence. It was later discovered that the pistol had been reported stolen, and the police also learned that Drake had a prior felony conviction for simple robbery, which would prohibit him from legally possessing a firearm. And this is what he won on appeal. I guess they couldn't prove it was his. The police obtained a search warrant for the residence. The search of then they got a search warrant. And the search of the home produced 2 brown bottles, one containing PCP and the other containing PCP residue, a bag containing 1.4 grams. He also seized $240 in cash and denominations of 5s and 10s and 20s, along with the driver's license issued on June 6th, which was 13 days before the arrest. The driver's license as the home address by bill, defendant of possessions, intents. So this is what he got his big sentence for, which he then got out, and then he got locked back up. $20-year sentence. Wow. They dismissed the possession of Mary J. and domestic abuse because the agreed sentences. The defendant waived his right to appeal the sentences, but he did not waive his right to appeal trial errors, which is what he got the 5 years on. Which is interesting. After hearing, look at that, you can learn things. You can waive your right to appeal, but you can retain the right on trial error. And he ended up getting 5 years back because of that. Which is a little interesting because you would think it's his attorney that negotiated this deal, and then he filed a motion for insufficient or ineffective counsel, which is just kind of funny, right? A trial court granted the motion, preserves evidence, but denied all others. The sentence was then imposed by a trial judge in conformity with the agreement. Okay, enough of that. I'll put the link in the description below. But yeah, so the stuff that he was on, PCP and what was he, Molly, and there was something else. Was it meth? I mean, those stuff mess with you, really mess with you. Mess with your head so bad. I from what I hear from other people, it's like there's no good outcome. So this is probably the best thing that could possibly happen for him, for his kids, for his family, if he can get the most out of this program. Steve Hoyle program. It's supposed to be the best the correction facility has to offer, and really open his arms and embrace the idea of living life sober. It could change his life completely. So I'm rooting for him. It's good to see that the correction system, I think, is doing what it should be doing, what it hopefully is, was designed to do, was meant to do in a perfect world. So I'm rooting for him. With that, I'll let you go.